And I was like,
really?
No, I know, right?
Not in St. Paul?
I'm such a goody. But like,
your dad wouldn't have let you listen to the ag report if you would have. He would have caught you. He'd be like, no ag report this week. You're grounded from it.
This is going to be such a boring podcast.
You want to know the price of corn? You're not going to know.
Oh my God. Nate with the boyfriend, so you kind of have like Beavers in there,
And mostly like breakup
Bieber?
songs, aren't they?
Justin Bieber, whatever it
Bieber.
is. Yeah, Bieber, whatever. Are we editing this
Justin
out?
Bieber.
No, this
You have to edit that one out. Oh yeah. I'm not advertising this one.
I'm crying.
Yeah. But she goes through all the emotions and all the things, and so the girls resonate with it. I'm trying to move away from it. So
Manny got me going. I thought I heard it, and that's
over
why I
there.
clarified, and you said it again 2 more times. I was convinced we were going to have to go back and check the tape because I was convinced that you were like...
Let's not do any captioning on it. Oh, my God.
That's 100% the first reel that we're releasing.
Let's just stay here in this moment. Let you guys soak this one up. Well, for me, I like that's so like news. Like I mean, I could listen to listen to something I don't even know anything about and just enjoy like the two-way dialogue for some reason.
Same. I really enjoy to just like be in on a conversation. Like, yeah, it just kind of fills up the space. I mean, there's one I listen to like a St. Louis. It's called The Morning After. It's a St. Louis. I probably have told you that, but it's a radio show. It's a legit all over the air, but they present it in podcasts, and it's all in all, it's probably 2 to 2.5 hours of podcast a day. And it's 5 people having a conversation, and their personalities, and you just kind of feel like you're part of the gang listening to it, I get that.
Well, I grew up just listening to, Farmer Dave. Farmer Dave. I think it was KMOX, and he did an ag report like on the weekends. And then like the call-in, like radio, the garage sale call-in. Did you ever, nothing? Drawing a blank. I don't remember.
Garage sale call-in radio? Do those words together mean anything to you?
You would literally get like this woman would call in and be like, I've got a washer and dryer. It doesn't seem to be working. Pick up only. All right, give us the phone number.
So it's like Craigslist over the air.
573-355-4066. You're in St. Charles. All right, that's Sally with the garage or the.
And you would listen to that?
We would just listen. I remember my dad, we would just listen if like we needed a motor for our motorcycle or like for a lawnmower or something, or it was just a
That's how you heard about it.
Yeah.
I used to listen to the like the car repair guys.
Okay.
You kind of like
listen
to the radio. There's like 2 guys and whatever people call on the phone. So this person called in and said, I have this car that it's kind of old and it's been giving me all this trouble. And that people say, well, what kind of trouble? And she's like, well, I mean, like the check engine light comes on quite often.
Yeah.
And I've taken all these places or whatever, and I don't know how to fix it. And they said, well, the only thing you got to do is just like, if it keeps coming on, just take a piece of black tape and just put it about in front of it, and you won't notice anymore. And car's fixed already.
Okay, so to me that's different
the
though,
check
because
engine light emoji is like now what the younger kids are calling it. There's like emojis to the 16-year-olds right now.
Oh, really?
Yes, but yeah.
Well, so to me though, that's you potentially are learning something.
Right.
Yours is like you're just browsing Craigslist.
Well,
like
that
you're just
was
like, what's for sale
of one
today?
of the shows. Yeah.
All right, so here's what I want to know: what what makes up an ag report? Like, what would be in the like it rained and so the grass is more green?
They would be like national ag reports. So like corn, like the Corn Growers Association, like sold off their corn $1 less. Like the Cattlemen Association reported like their cattle, their beef. Like they would just so it would be actual agriculture, national, like local statistics on it was and now that I have a restaurant, which is insane, and I saw like the crazy inflation of prices during COVID, I'm like, I should have been listening closer.
Full circle.
And now I kind of understand it.
Where did you grow up?
Just in St. Paul, Missouri.
Okay.
It wasn't like rural Missouri, but it's rural for St. Charles County.
Yeah.
But I wasn't raised on a farm or anything.
Sure.
But, I had family members and whatnot.
Was rural, yeah.
But again, it's just talk radio.
Yeah, but what's still interesting to me about this whole thing is that you and I have connected on like 2000s music.
Yeah.
Like I know you love New Found Glory. I don't know what else we've talked about. Blink. We've talked about Blink.
Yeah.
Like, and you're not
Saves
just
the
like
Day,
you know words and like, oh, Saves the Day. That's even a deep cut.
Yeah.
I mean, for most people.
It was, I think, 2000, graduated high school and then went off to college. And I think I just started like finding music.
Okay.
Like,
So that just hit.
It just wasn't really, I don't know where it really came from. I mean, different people, different influences, different boyfriends, different, emotions, just the like ups and downs of like just being in your 20s and trying to figure shit out. So
I feel that.
And just like the angry, like, I mean, it would just be like, you could hear and every single word they were saying, but it was like yelling into the microphone. And so I don't know. So you'd be in your car on a long drive, just screaming the words and wiping tears or like laughing and like, pumping your arm or something. So I don't know. It was just
Who knew Tammi Hilton was an emo?
It was a hidden emo.
I claim
Nobody
it.
would know.
I'm not ashamed at all.
I love it now. Yeah. Which I didn't even know them.
Oh, really?
Loved it.
Oh, yeah. I love them.
Yeah. Because I've not listened to anything new. I think they're
because they're probably like 2010 and on.
So I got my Blink tickets, and then what was the other one?
Are we in the same section, or did you go floor?
I didn't go floor. I think I'm close by.
Okay.
There wasn't a lot of options by the time I got.
Cheers.
It happened already.
Next August? No, it's next August.
August.
Yeah.
And then what else just came out? I should know.
Oh, yeah. If you hadn't said that,
it's gonna be embarrassing that we don't
30
know.
Seconds to Mars and AFI. Is that
No.
okay?
It's just a couple days later.
Okay.
Ticketmaster.
I can't afford a concert a couple days after that one.
I know. It was, but Blink was like, I missed them coming in.
Yeah.
And
they didn't hit St. Louis.
Yeah, but we could have traveled like a little bit to go see.
Yeah, but you're talking. We looked in Chicago and tickets alone because they use that surge pricing. Do you know about this?
Yeah.
Same as Uber, basically. So like whatever the tickets are going for, that kind of sets the market.
Yeah.
It's really interesting because, not to get too far off, I mean, we're already off, but like someone is going to make that money, right? If they're going to sell tickets for whatever and people are going to resell them on the secondary market, then some shithead like me or you or whoever decides to resell these tickets is making that profit. Shouldn't the band make that money? If that is the demand, that's the street price for the tickets. Shouldn't the band make that money? Is the band
making the money, or is it Ticketmaster or StubHub?
I'm sure the Ticketmaster fees go up, but the band ultimately makes more, which is the way that it should be. But then you look at Blink and you're like, fucking really? Like $500 for a ticket in Chicago? That's what they were when we looked.
Yeah.
Then you got to get there. Then if you drive, you got to pay $50 a day to park your car.
Yeah.
And you got to stay in a hotel. And it's a $1,500, $2,000 concert.
Right now. It's just expensive, no matter how you cut it. But no, when that came on sale, I told a friend of mine from high school, I said, man, we miss Blink, and like it would have been one of those conversations of like, that should have been a concert we should have gone to. Even when we were a kid, we should have gone to one of those concerts and we never did.
Oh, you'd never seen them?
No.
Oh, man.
No. So it's probably like whatever they put on to me will be like the only thing that I've seen. Mm-hmm. And, but we were going to go to Vegas to
when we were young,
and it just didn't work out. We didn't pull the trigger, but like thinking through it, like the kids and the sports and stuff, it wouldn't have worked out. And so I thought that was the last time. And then
they hit.
And then they did it. Yeah. So they'll probably tour for the next 10 years, and they got me. But
hope so. I mean, yeah, it's you'll be hooked. Like they put on an amazing show. They're gonna play all your favorite songs. Like it's going to be everything you thought it would be. And Pierce the Veil is opening. I don't know if you know them.
No.
They were later. They're going to be harder. Actually, it's funny. We were talking about like Nirvana and 90s music. They just released an album that is a total 90s vibe.
This is driving me nuts because I got to figure out.
You only had a music app.
Yeah.
If I only had a music app. No, I'm going to go through my text to my friends and like, because I'm like, please, who wants to go with me?
Get familiar with Pierce the Veil before you go, because you may not like it, but if you do like it.
Green Day. How did we forget? So Green Day's
that's right.
coming.
That's like a huge tour, right?
So that's like a couple days later. So Blink is on the 10th, and then Green Day comes on the 15th. And you had to see Green Day. I don't know.
Can't afford that. Have you never seen Green Day either?
No, but I mean, that was like my high school. Like that was
my Green Day story. I've seen them twice. The first one was at Point Fest 9 in 1998.
Yeah.
And the last three bands were Creed, Green Day, Foo Fighters.
Yeah.
Like
those are great.
Completely epic. I mean, in Creed at the time, we know what Creed is.
Did you know how epic it was at the time?
No.
Yeah.
You didn't know that in 25 years,
and then did you go to like Slackers and O'Fallon for the after party?
No, I grew up in Hazelwood.
Oh yeah.
But Green Day, like it was this epic, like you looked up in the sky, everyone was throwing their plastic cups for some reason on the lawn, and then they lit their drum kit on fire when the set ended.
Holy cow.
And it was just like, whoa, what the fuck? What am I doing? Like I'm 16 seeing Green Day and this happens, and it was amazing. So they put on a great show, but it's Blink for me all day.
I'll let you know.
They just came out with a new song.
Did they?
Green Day.
I like them. Like I wouldn't turn it off, but I also wouldn't seek it out.
Well, for me, it was like most of my girlfriends will be like, hey, we're going to go to this country music this summer. Like, they'll go to the concert. Like, you want to go to a concert? I'm like, I'll go because a good time is always a good time.
Yeah.
So I texted my friends and I was like, hey, who wants to go to Green Day? And like one responded back, I'm going to have to listen before I commit. I'm like, I didn't listen to any of your country people.
They're
like
country,
I just was like, I was like, okay.
They've got to know. Like,
they did, but it didn't resonate, same age.
Yeah.
It just
that's
didn't even
funny.
resonate. But I know all these songs. I'm in. And I'm like, oh my gosh. I'm like,
well, that's funny. Like kind of going back to what you were saying about, going to college and just meeting new people and having these different experiences. Like everyone has those, right? But that music was the thing at the time.
Yeah.
Like that was the pop music. Blink was on TRL, like that stuff was coming into popularity. The pop, the Backstreet, all that stuff was kind of phasing out.
Yeah.
And
it
was almost like.
It was a change. Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
But it's funny that hit at the right time. It's same for me. Like I listened to alternative growing up. Like I listened to Green Day and stuff, but like, I just started going deep underground when that stuff.
My kids will pop in the car and like it'll just be like a random punk station and they'll be like, "You're not in high school anymore," and I'm like, I don't even know how you associated this to high school for me, And I mean, my husband will make fun of me a little bit for it too, and so, but he goes back like to just like rock and roll, like
classic rock or like 80s or something.
And so his is, I'm like, oh my god,
that's
it's
probably what he grew up on, right?
He grew up what his his aunts and uncles were listening to, and his parents were listening to. So it's just funny, and I have no control when it gets rowdy at our house or our family, if whatever we're doing. Like my husband takes over the music, and it is just like, and you just have, it's the same lineup, like over and over and over, and it happens at the restaurant. Like so, if we sit there, we have a couple drinks, and like we close down, and like we're
he gets a hold of the playlist.
He gets a hold of the playlist, and it's like, I mean, everything just comes out.
Tell me what's
Nelly
playing.
is like always first up, and then I don't even know the songs, but it's just like, and everybody loves it because for them it's like the first time hearing the new playlist. But I'm like, God, like Groundhog Day around here, and so. And the kids know them, and so they get a little bit of everything. But yeah, right now in the car, it's like Taylor Swift or Old Town Road is what my 8-year-old.
Okay, yeah, my kids were drawn to that song too. It's very like whatever it is, very dun, 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 dun.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I guess easy to listen to, easy to sing.
Yeah,
simple words.
But Taylor Swift, that kind of spans generations too, though, right? I mean, that's not exclusive to like your kids or like our parents even, probably.
No, well, the Eras tour, right? So I saw the movie.
Okay.
And after the movie, I took my daughter and some of her friends, and so after the movie, Taylor Swift is playing on all 12 screens like all weekend. Like, I mean, a new screen starts like 30 minutes later.
Okay.
So we left, and like my daughter's like, can we go in to the next one? And like, I've never broken into a movie before, but that's a thing. And I was like,
really?
No, I know, right?
I'm
such a goody. But like,
your dad wouldn't have let you listen to the ag report if you would have. He would have caught you. He'd be like, no ag report this week. You're grounded from it.
This is going to be such a boring podcast.
You want to know the price of corn? You're not going to know.
Oh my God. But so like, I just looked at her and I was like, yes, we can break into the other. I mean, like, what are they going to do? Like,
to watch the same one? Like, just watch it over?
So we watched it again, and it was just getting started.
Back to back?
Almost.
That's so fun.
Like, we got to an era, and I turned around and I was like, you know what? I'm just going to let them do this for, as long as they wanted to. We had no agenda the next day. I'm like, whatever. So I just was like, let me know when you girls are ready. And they were like, we're done. We don't know this era.
And so I don't know what that era, I don't know what she goes through, like her eras.
Yeah.
Okay. So it's like, what's she been around, 15 years?
No.
Like how many eras does
like
she have?
20 years.
20?
20 years.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what does she have, like 4 eras? Like what's?
Probably at least, like, I don't know. But like, I mean, and then each of them like resonate with the boyfriend, so you kind of have like Beavers in there,
And mostly like breakup
Bieber?
songs, aren't they?
Justin Bieber, whatever it
Bieber.
is. Yeah, Bieber, whatever. Are we editing
Justin
this out?
Bieber. No.
No, they should.
Yeah. You have to edit that one out. Oh yeah. I'm not advertising this one.
I'm crying.
Yeah. But like, so like she goes through all the emotions and all the things, and so the girls resonate with it. I'm trying to move away from it. So
Manny got me going. I thought I heard it, and that's
over
why
there.
I clarified, and you said it again 2 more times. I was convinced we were going to have to go back and check the tape because I was convinced that you were like,
let's not do any captioning on it. Oh my gosh.
that's 100% the first reel that we're releasing.
Let's just stay here in this moment. Like, soak this one up.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
So what's funny about the Taylor Swift stuff, though, related to what we're talking about, is that...
I think you have a tear.
I know. I'm sorry.
It's crying.
You got tissues, Angel?
Is that she...
We're just going to take a pause here.
I got to take this jacket off.
I do, too. I'm hot now. I feel like I can't because I'm on camera. It's going to be too many
that
different
new
things.
denim jacket is so
I know.
stylish.
It's so nice.
Yeah.
Taylor Swift kind of is like, this might be hashtag controversial, but she's like emo adjacent.
Oh, well, I mean, just movement wise.
Yeah. Okay. Movement in like what
being
she
able
did.
to like just sway people.
Yeah. But also like her lyrics are like emotional.
Oh.
And it's her, I don't listen to Taylor Swift, and it's not that I don't like her. It's not my kind of thing. Like I know a couple things, but what I know is her music, it seems like it's just her diary.
Right.
Penned out in
like totally open
verse
book.
and,
Yeah.
you know.
And
so have you seen that video with her and Chris Carrabba?
No.
It's like a famous YouTube video of, Chris Carrabba from Dashboard.
Okay. Thanks.
So I'm a super fan, so I know.
I know,
all
but
the
I
band
don't
members.
know all the details.
Yeah. No, I'm a nerd. So it's her friend's birthday party or something. This is probably 2000, like 10, 12, 14, somewhere in there, right? It's her friend's birthday party, her best friend. She throws her this elaborate party, and then she's like, oh, ever since whatever grade, Tammy's liked Dashboard Confessional. It's been her favorite band. So I called my friend Chris, who basically is Dashboard, right? Like he's got a band, but that's him. And he came out to this girl's birthday party and played Hands Down. And it's Taylor and Chris singing Hands Down.
Oh my gosh.
Like on home,
Right.
not home video, but
Right.
you know what I mean? It's pretty
Yeah.
cool. So I think she's like adjacent to that scene. And I think there's a lot of people that, there's a couple like punk or metal bands that cover blank spaces.
Yeah.
Blank space.
Yeah.
And then there's a couple of other of her songs that I've heard. So that kind of, for me, like that kind of bridges the gap.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. And I don't even know how, I don't know. I don't even know where it got started. Someone else will know for sure. But it's just, like you said, it covers different eras, different generations. And like, I mean, my daughter's 10. And like, I mean, it totally speaks to her on some level. So
let's talk about you sneaking into a movie.
With my 10-year-old.
Yeah, I think
and her
that's
three
cool.
friends.
I think that's cool.
Well, yeah, because I was
paid
like,
for tickets.
yeah.
You're not seeing a different movie.
And for like 30 minutes, right? So Warenberg, I got you. But like,
right.
I don't even
Relax,
think
we paid $14 for
I don't even
popcorn.
think it was Warenberg, but I don't know. She just like looked at me like, "Can we do this?" And I'm like, "No, we cannot do." Yes, we can.
Yeah, good for you.
Yes, we can. Like whatever rule we'll break, we'll fix before we get home. Like
the worst thing that would happen would be like, you're gonna have to buy 5 more tickets. Okay,
bummer.
There you go.
Yeah.
Like,
totally
worth it to make a memory. Your daughter is going to remember that forever. Like,
I know. Right now, like but I can't look at her. Like I mean, if I look at her the wrong way, I've been trying to like
she, like,
get the slang, and so like they're the new generation. What is it? ZYX. Where are we at? I don't know. But I'm like, I'll say something. I'll be like, Natalie, like, no crumbs left. Great job. And she's like, Mom.
I don't know what that means.
It just means like you did a phenomenal job.
Okay.
Like no crumbs left
Oh,
over.
like, yeah.
Like you goodbye. Like,
okay.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
And she's just like, do not.
Yeah.
Do not, Mom. And she's just like, she cannot. So like, I have like all this video of me like on my phone, just like, hey, I don't even know what it would be like. But I'm like, is like, Natalie, let's do a fit check. And she'll be like, Mom.
Like, check your outfit?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I'm like, I don't know. And I literally, I'm just figuring it out myself. I mean, I'm going to Google to do it, like looking up a name.
Yeah.
And she's like, are you going to put this on an Instagram reel, Mom? And I'm like,
are you trying
great idea.
It is. Yeah, it is.
And she's like, do not.
Are you looking stuff up before and then trying to insert it in the conversation? That's so funny.
I'm like, so then I just tell her, I'm like, you got to help me because I got to be cooler in front of my employees.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I hire, 19 to 25 and, I'm like, and they're saying stuff like, I don't even know. And I'm like, okay.
Yeah. So your daughter's 10, you said?
10.
And that's how old my oldest is.
Yeah.
And so what's funny about that is they've been in homeschool until this year. And so obviously we don't talk like that.
Yeah.
So they're getting to school this year and they love it, but they're starting to bring those things home. And they're so late to the game because they haven't been there. But we're starting to hear, I haven't heard that one, but.
Bro, sis, but those are like. So
I've been calling them bro since they were
me
little.
too.
I have 2 girls.
Yeah. But we were, sis was always kind of a word. Or so,
my wife calls them that.
Like, get your sister. And I always say like and so. But yeah, it's coming home and like but I hear them more at the restaurant or somebody will say something to me like, your drip looks great today. And I'm like,
yes.
What is that?
Yeah.
And they're like, Tammi, you don't know. I'm like, no, but and I just feel like a fool. So I'm practicing on my daughter. I'm Googling it and then I'm walking into work trying to.
I feel like drip was like necklaces and like earrings and stuff when we were kids,
I think
right?
It's the extras, your accessories, I think, right?
Okay.
But the drip was never a thing when we were a kid.
So drip is not your whole outfit?
Oh, I think that's fit.
Oh, that's a fit. Okay.
Yes.
Anyone
Manny.
confirm? Manny's the youngest person here by.
Drip could be your fit,
okay.
Your accessories. I mean, your drip is like your whole.
I don't like the ambiguity. It has to be one or the other. Just.
Yeah, right. I need a defined word. I'm type A personality. I need a word for this.
I'm not even type A, but I need to know. Yeah.
There's a kid on Twitter. It's like Waxin22. Anybody? WACKSON. It might be TikTok. I don't have TikTok, but it feeds, Insta. Right. And this one you need to interlay some video here because this kid is hilarious. He's a kid and you can't tell if he's 13 or 35. He's just got one of those faces and he is like, he's not a like generally attractive person, right? I'm not saying he's ugly. I'm just saying like most people would.
He's going to hear this and have an opinion.
Right. Yeah. Okay. The Twitter. Yeah.
That'd be a good day.
He would admit that. I think that's part of his appeal is he's not odd looking, but he's not.
Odd is in, by the way.
It is, but you're right. And maybe that helps. But this kid is so like charming. He'll get on and talk about his drip and my fit. And he's like, I'm going to steal your girl. And he always does this laugh at the end. And it's just one of those things that you watch and you're like, I don't know why I love that, but I love that.
Well, there is something about a laugh. Like,
yeah.
there's a show on MTV and the girl all she does is sit on the couch and laugh. And like, that's her role. So but I mean, it's the hook, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's the same thing over and over again.
Yeah. But he's dropping, fit and drip and, some other stuff. I don't know. We'll have to pull it up.
Well, what gave me the idea, like keeping it local is, Dr. O, or Mr. O with the CAPS program was posting. I guess he reversed his
I saw that.
And so then I immediately was like, I recognized all the words that he had posted. So his CAPS students were giving him a slang education.
So for reference, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, but then I just went out and Googled them all too. And I was like saying them to my daughter, she's like, what are you doing? Like, why are you asking me this out of the blue? And I'm like, I was just curious because I recognized the words in the restaurant, but I really didn't know what they were.
Well, that's true. You have to keep up with.
I just want to know if someone's talking bad or good about me, really. Like,
sure. And I think it speaks to like the larger thing of like, if you don't keep up with trends and technologies and language, like you're going to die. And I don't mean like a physical death. I just mean
you're going to be behind. Maybe
you're going to be way behind and you're going to be
stuck.
Yeah. If you can't communicate with the younger generation, like that's fine. That's your choice. But like we've seen our parents make that choice and it's like, here's how you do it. No,
it's like AI, right? So if you're not friends with ChatGPT, then I always tell people like with ChatGPT or anything, like you gotta, like be nice to it. So if I give it a prompt or like something and ask it, I tell her like, thank you, you did a great job. I appreciate that.
Because they're going to control us very soon, and you want to get on their good side now.
You know? I'm like nicer to her than my husband.
Yeah,
so.
start earning brownie points.
Yeah.
Here goes the AI tangent.
I know. I just watched that one again. It just came out, the Zach Smithy episode. He's a local artist. Like,
I know him. I haven't listened yet.
It's not to like whatever. It's a good conversation, but we go on AI for, I don't know, 5-10 minutes. And
I bet he's got some opinions about it as an artist.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's really interesting to hear how his brain works, and it's super interesting guy.
Yeah.
Anyway, that was fun.
Yeah. I remember, when he built this house, right?
Yeah.
That was like, it was a very interesting, it was just a conversation.
Yeah. And then and we didn't put him on the podcast. I think he would have been okay, but it felt weird to me. He sent me a whole zip file of the interior. And the interior is way more interesting than the exterior.
We should have done the podcast in there.
Oh, yeah. Go to Zach's house and let's call him. We can make it happen.
Part 2.
It's crazy. Just like the stuff that he has, like it looks, if you think about it, how you would think
it's been documented it a couple of times. Like, yeah. I've seen pictures of it.
Get him to do a Mellow redesign.
7.5 years. I got 2.5 more years. We'll probably be doing an art redo.
Oh, really?
Probably, yeah. Cool. Maybe. They always do a refresh.
We should talk about Mellow.
Let's
talk about your businesses. You want to go Mellow or you want to go NoMo?
Let's start off with Mellow.
With Mellow. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm hungry, so this might...
I almost brought you a pizza.
Really?
Almost.
Yeah, we are kind of messing around with that idea of like doing some product placement stuff. And
yeah.
I mean, because your pizza, not only is it delicious, and I'm not just saying that for the camera, not only is Mellow Mushroom Pizza delicious, it really presents well.
It does.
On camera. It's so interesting. It's so colorful.
But I will say though, like it's such fresh ingredients. Like there's not a lot of preservatives. Yeah. So like when it sits, you got a window of opportunity.
Gotcha.
So, but
well,
that's not why. Yeah. I almost just brought it just as like nourishment for us to get started.
Well, and I know you had like a photo shoot today.
Yeah.
And I saw it like, this is weird how Facebook works. I saw it like maybe a minute or 2 minutes after you posted it, and there were no comments. And I was like, I should. And I was like, I got too much to do. And I checked back like, I don't know, 30 or 45 minutes later, and it was like 45 comments where it's like, oh, of course people want to go eat free pizza.
Well, yeah. So for social media, we needed fresh content.
Yeah.
And for social media, it's always hard because I want it to be a big brand, but like, I don't need to go viral. Right. But I need to be locally recognized. And so
it doesn't
like
help you to
algorithms. Yeah. If someone in Texas is reading about it, it's not a big deal other than like the other Mellows in Texas.
Yeah.
And so I don't know, I was thinking about what to do and how to get people in there. Plus the photo shoots during the day. So it's not like the restaurant's overly busy.
Yeah.
And you kind of stress out about like having enough people. So I just threw it in the Chamber Facebook group.
That's where I was. Yeah.
And I'm like, this would be great because it'll be recognizable people. And I was surprised. I mean, a handful of the people I've only known for a little bit, and then some I've known for 3-4 years. And so I just thought like, well, that'll actually be good. So these people, the poor people, they came in and like, I'm like, thanks for being here. Like, get your drink, but like, I'm ordering your food and you're going to eat like, so I have a holy shiitake pizza coming and it's got the mushrooms on it. And I'm like, I don't know what you signed up for, but
yeah.
I told you, like, this is, if you were an extra in the movie, you wouldn't get to decide like where you were standing or sitting. Yeah. But I was like, it was fine, but it was funny. So but you want them to be happy and have a slice.
Yeah, but you're not going to sit and be like, oh, I got a mushroom. Who wants that? Like, you're just going to get what you get. And
no, but it was fine. And so we were ordering food, but like, so we had to take a picture of the food first. And so like they were getting like warm, if not cold food by the time they were eating, but I was, I paid for it all. So it wasn't a big deal, but it was funny and ended up being, obviously people that I knew. And so I'm hoping like one is kind of pushing out on social, people will just be recognizing figures that they know.
Yeah.
Because the interesting thing about this area is people eat, live, and work, and shop.
Yeah, in the same area, right?
In this area, whether it be, 3 or 4 cities over, or whatever, but so I thought, well, at least we'll have recognizable people and then like friends of mine throughout the day. So, but yeah, that's what we did today.
That's fun.
And the cap, so speaking about caps earlier, you're going to say what they were if you want to give a background of what caps are.
Oh, wow. We're going, the text thread thing. So what I saw was Mr. O
Oh, no. If you want to say what the CAPS program is.
Oh, what the CAPS program is. Okay.
Do you know what it is?
I know. No. I can explain it in my terms.
Go ahead.
It's like when you're like a high school kid, like junior or senior, and you go into like these specified like fields for a half day. So you can go into like entrepreneurship and marketing, and there's a health strand. But they're
business education.
Yeah, they're going like a half day to school, half day to that, and we've done a couple
Well, so Dan Tripp texted me this morning and was like, we had a very successful pitch last night, and I want to celebrate. Like, can I bring in 28 kids for lunch? And I was like, bingo. Yeah. So then I got all these high school kids from like districts all over.
You want the high school kids in there.
And so I hit like, and it just worked out. But I'm like, when did we hit a point where you have to warn me about 28 people coming for lunch? Like, I'm open to 300 people, 360 days a year. Like, but of course I appreciated the warning, you know.
Well, I guess
I was like, you come in with 40 people
some places
right now.
May not be staffed.
I know. That's
enough, and
that's my kind of my gripe is.
But it shouldn't be like that. Like they should just assume you're ready to roll.
Yeah.
Let's get 300 people in here all day.
If you're, like, you know, a call ahead is always nice. Don't get me wrong. But like, you know, we should be able to walk in anywhere. Target, you know, Burger King. Whatever.
Do you think some of that, and this is not.
Does anybody go to Burger King anymore? I do.
No, I never did. I think some of that, and this is not even a bad thing, but some of that could be maybe Dan or whoever is saying like, hey,
restaurant
I'm going to bring you business, like, you know.
Yeah.
So I think, and like I said, I don't think that's even a bad thing. I think it's
it was very respectful. But but I was like, no, you can bring. You don't need my permission to bring people in. Yeah. So we did the photo shoot today. The CAP students were in. I got to talk to them a little bit, which was like totally thrown on the spot. So I I gave them from like high school to like, you know, whatever.
Yeah.
And we talked about franchising and, you know, pros and cons and the benefits that, you know, franchise gives and all the things like that. And like, you know, and then just the pros and cons of owning a business and things like that.
Let's talk about that. So it is a franchise.
Yeah.
Why Mellow? Like,
right.
You know,
it's funny. I joke to people. Well, my husband traveled a lot when we made the decision to go with Mellow, and he was in Atlanta a lot, and so he saw them. So Mellow Mushroom in Atlanta is like emos to us in St. Louis. You know,
is that where they're from too? Is that okay?
Yeah. So he just saw it booming. Another one had opened up in the area. So we went and I had never had it when he kind of approached the idea to me. And then we had it in Orlando and we just kind of kept, you know, and we had talked about doing a business for years, like talked about it. I sold software. He was in sales. And for me, it was like rock the boat. Like, why rock the boat, you know? And like, you know, we just had kids and we were only married like 6-7 years. I'm like, there's just a lot of uncertainty. But it just got to a point where we needed to make an investment in ourselves. Like we had some success and we just needed to figure out a way to double down on a couple of things. And so it was just, I jokingly, but it's kind of true. Like it was just the concept that we were kind of feeling out when like I was ready to kind of round the corner. So it was just kind of timing on like both things. And so, but we looked at different franchises, concepts. But one of the biggest thing about Mellow Mushroom is they've been around since 1974.
Oh, wow. I don't think I realized that.
Right. Honestly, you wouldn't have realized that just because it's an outlier brand in like an outlier state. But when you have to go to the bank and ask for money and take like a 30-year loan, you want something sustainable. Yeah. And it's pizza and beer like at its core.
Right.
And so, and it was cool. And it was a new concept that we were bringing out to the county. And we just thought like that would be a cool splash. Like, because ain't nobody did it before. I mean, someone had done it in St. Louis and it was doing really well. Yeah. And so we're like, let's just go. And so we wrote one check and got a tour and, you know, signed some paperwork. And before I knew it, we were talking to an architect and a real estate agent and a general contractor. And it took about 2 years to go from like first tour of like the commissary in Atlanta to actually getting the restaurant going.
Wow, that's a process. That's a process. So you've owned it for 2.5?
It has been open. February this year, it'll be open for 5 years.
For 5, okay. So you've really been like 7 years in the process when you talk about that. So.
Yeah. we bought the land first. So figuring out where you're going to put it, like staying within like your bounds and your rights, and then finding an intersection at a price point that makes sense for like the whole picture. That was harder than I expected. I thought that would be like, buy a house, find one, but that was really hard because you got to get the right price point. We would find pieces of property, and this was just something like I didn't even think about, but we'd find pieces of property that were awesome. And then we would have to do like a land lease, like built to lease or built to suit. So we would, we wouldn't own anything, and we wanted to own the building. That was a big piece of just like the business aspect of it.
How much input does Mellow have as to like where it's located? I mean,
a lot. So a lot. They had to they made the final decision. We presented a couple different spots that we were comfortable. And then they kind of make the final blessing. So they, and of course, like they have requirements that the real estate agent worked with to make sure that like we were in a heavily trafficked area. And so there's some like real estate requirements that the commercial real estate agent knew to stay within.
Makes sense. Okay. Yeah. You sent this and I was like, that's never seen cool looking, but I don't.
Launched it November 7th.
Is there any kind of like, I'm not good at this. And is there any kind of like hidden thing in there? Like,
what do you see when you see it?
I see a slice of pizza and a cheese dripping off the pizza, I think. Oh, wait. Oh, it's also a mushroom. Did you guys see that? Did you guys see that ahead of time?
I've been seeing it all the time.
You've been seeing the mushroom too.
First. So did you see the mushroom first or the pizza slice first?
I think I saw both together, but really? I mean, you can see the mushroom like very.
Very well, clear. Now that I see it, I can't unsee it. But it's just one of those. It's like a perspective thing. Yeah. Did you see it at first? I mean, obviously, you.
For me, it was the mushroom before the pizza slice.
Really?
Isn't that strange? Yeah.
No.
But remember, like the reflective, like the I don't know, like a two faces, like a vase
upside
or something.
Down, or like the woman. It's like an old woman this way.
To be honest, until you said that, I didn't even realize that you might see something different than I did.
Isn't that weird how that works too?
Where is the cheese at though?
This is the cheese.
I never saw the cheese dripping down, but I like it.
Right? Or is that?
Yeah, I think so. I didn't even think about it. Yeah.
Here's the crust of the pizza. Here's the cheese. Here's the pepperonis, and this is a little drip of cheese dripping down
the
there.
The stem of the mushroom.
Exactly.
Yeah,
it's so interesting how we think, because we think this way, everyone else must think that. It's like the inner dialogue thing, right? Would you ever think anyone didn't have inner dialogue?
Never.
It's bizarre to think about.
I don't understand why you're not talking to yourself.
But yeah, I mean, that's crazy. And of course, it didn't even click for me to look at anything until I like verbalized it.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
And then you said like, what do you say? So.
Yeah, so they do a lot on the back end. I don't maintain my website. I don't maintain my, I don't redesign the logos. I don't worry about the trademarks of things. I don't worry about the recipes. I don't worry about the build out,
Sure,
it's
it takes
a proven
lot of
methodology.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is this available for immediate release? Like this is...
Yeah,
I mean,
November 7th.
It
came out November 7th.
Very
so
cool.
This is a new shirt. So we have new logos, new menus rolled out.
Okay, is the logo on that?
No, it's not. Well, I guess it's up here on the top. And so...
Okay.
But yeah, so like the Mel dude is still around.
Yeah.
But he's just represented like off the logo instead. So.
Yeah.
But everybody goes through a refresh of their logo on some level, and you kind of keep it.
My first, we call it Achievement Club or like trip with farmers was in 2013, 14, somewhere in there. And it was in Chicago. And the big talk was we were going to unveil our new logo. And Farmers had not changed logos since Farmers started in 1928. I think their last logo update was like in the 50s. Okay. And people are up in arms about this. Now this is going back. People are up in arms about this. Why are we changing the logo? Again, if you don't change, you're just going to die.
Right.
So they,
good circle.
Right. So they unveiled this new logo. And of course it's just refreshed. Right. But before that, there were two interesting things that happened. They went through a list of companies, like they showed the Starbucks logo and they showed the evolution of it. And it's one thing, it's like if you look at the first one and look at the last one, there's not a whole lot of difference. And it's still on brand. It's still the green. It's still the lady. It's still the star, right? There's just an extra thing or it's refreshed here. And you don't really notice it from change to change.
Right.
But they have changed their logo something like 9 times in 20 years or something like that. You got
Yeah, I was gonna say, there's sirens, right? It's a siren.
Siren, that's the name of the lady.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's what it is, right? Starbucks.
Oh, the Starbucks.
I don't know. No, I don't know what you're saying. Siren, like a female, like an attractive female. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
What'd I say?
I don't know. You said it was like a girl or something.
What is like a girl?
Okay, I guess.
It's
I
like
didn't know that.
It's like a mythical creature or something.
Mm-hmm.
Is that what you're saying?
Well, they did the same thing. Like
Starbucks?
logos evolved.
Yeah.
And
we had this, and I used to watch this every year. We had this like beat poet come out and do this 10-minute. It's actually awesome. Yeah, at this farmers event. I have shown it to like networking groups I've been in because it's motivational in the sense that it's like you have to change. Like he talks about all these companies and all these things that wouldn't have happened. And Pepsi was called Brad's drink. So at one point he's like, raise a toast to Brad's drink.
Oh, Pepsi was called Brad's drink.
Brad's drink. Yeah. Before it was Pepsi. And so at the end of this thing, I'll send it to you. It really is amazing. Like it'll kind of pump you up. But they unveiled a new logo and it's like, oh yeah, that's cool.
It did.
Do you have a favorite pizza? Have to.
Yeah. I mean, it used to be the Mighty Meaty, and then it moved over to Holy Shiitake, but it has to have steak on it.
Ooh.
And it's kind of like a Philly cheesesteak type of pizza.
Oh, that sounds good.
It's really delicious.
I really enjoyed, I don't think it's on the menu anymore, the Cuban. Or it wasn't called that.
Yeah. Wild in Havana, I think.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
But
that was a hot one, yeah.
You still have some of the ingredients, or most of them, I think.
I think the only thing I really don't have is like there was like a pickle relish, maybe you could kind
minor
of
detail.
You could chop up a pickle and call it. Oh, and the pork, of course. I don't have pork on my meat, like not pulled pork like that was.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
The second one for me is the Hawaiian, and I know it's not called that, but
the Pacific Rim.
The Pacific Rim.
Yeah. Yeah, jalapenos.
Your marketing department is hard at work.
That's the brand. That's the franchise, and I have nothing to do with that. And that's what you get owning a franchise.
But it's very cool. Like it is. I mean, it is more fun to order a Pacific Rim than a Hawaiian pizza.
Yeah.
Like
give me the barbecue. I mean the funky Q, right?
Oh, is that what the barbecue sauce is called?
Yeah.
No, I didn't know that.
Well, so that's what the barbecue pizza is.
Okay.
It's a funky Q.
Funky Q.
It's
gotcha.
not a barbecue.
Okay. Yeah. No, that's fun, and like the imagery's fun, and like. It's
very
just a
artistic.
Fun atmosphere.
Yeah, we talked about artists earlier. I've got 3 murals in the restaurant. 2 of them are done by local guys. And then I have 2 exterior murals on the building. And then there's all the muraling on the inside is done by an artist out of Miami.
Okay.
And it's all stenciled. One mural is a stencil mural, and a lot of it's just spray painted.
The outside stuff, you had to get approved, I guess, or
the city had to approve it. That was fun.
But did Mellow? Oh yeah, that's
Mellow was behind it. They hired all the artists.
Okay.
It was important to me that they hired local artists, and it was important to them that they stayed on brand. So like I remember the conversation. They're like, Tammi, we'll listen. We'll hire someone local, but don't hire anybody without our permission.
Yeah,
like,
of course.
Because then we'll have to not hire them because you and this is before like I would do things, without permission. And so, so they, so I gave them some like ideas of some stuff that was important, but I really wasn't into art or graffiti art by any stretch. And so I'm just like, I just want local. I just want something to represent, because to bring in this big brand to a new area and in a small community, suburban community, like I still like, listen, like we cannot be overly chainy. We need to make sure we hit a lot of the more local
especially
stuff.
Cottleville too, where it is kind of cute, kitschy, one-off stuff.
Yeah.
And your restaurant feels like that. There's only the other one isn't like South County. And there's no more in the St. Louis area.
Chesterfield opened recently. Yeah.
Shout out.
Yeah.
Neighbors to the west.
Shout out to the west.
So
in the far, far west. And there's one in Branson. So there's 4 in Missouri. Yeah.
Okay. Well, but I feel like it's still small enough to where it does not feel like a chain. When you walk in, you see it. It doesn't feel anything like a chain.
Yeah.
It feels like a one-off.
Yeah.
That's what you want.
Socially, sometimes in some of the bigger groups and stuff, pizza groups and whatever, like, well, that's a chain, but
Pizza
I'm
groups.
like, yeah.
Is this like the Ag Report?
This is like the Ag Report.
What's a pizza group?
Groups, like we won't, but any group,
Oh yeah,
like,
gotcha.
People are like,
wait, are these people like meeting up? Like, no.
Well, yeah. So then you kind of get harassed a little bit because you'll be compared to like, a locally owned pizza company, and then like, well, that's a chain, and then I'm like, yeah, a chain locally.
So this
owned.
is just happening online. It's not. They're not like. There's not like a pizza Facebook group, and they're like, let's meet up at Mellow Mushroom and have pizza.
No, I guess not. I'm sure there is one, but
there might be.
Yeah.
Not that that's a
You're
bad
invited,
thing, I guess.
group, wherever you are.
Yeah,
You're
come
invited.
to. Well, don't yell at us.
Don't yell at us. But, so you get a lot of locally owned, locally funded, locally employed, local vendors, all this stuff. But and then you get the finger point. It's a chain. And I'm like, yes.
It's okay.
Correct. I just correct.
The pizza was so good. Guess what they decided to do? Replicate the process and grow it and scale it.
And banks were excited. They threw money at it and people opened them all over town.
Why is that a bad thing?
Yeah, exactly.
It's okay.
Yeah.
It's that band's on the radio. I don't like them. Wait, what?
Well, that's going back to our emo days. Yeah.
I have a pizza tattoo.
No.
I do.
I don't have any tattoos.
You don't have any?
I know.
Yeah, I love pizza. It's a core food group for me. You can have it at any time of day. You can have it cold or hot. Yeah. You can have a breakfast pizza. You can have a dessert pizza.
I do have spectacular breakfast pizza.
Do you?
Yeah.
Oh, I've never. It's
on our local section. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But you can have it for breakfast, lunch, dinner, dessert, pizza.
Dessert.
I mean,
I guess there is dessert pizza.
Yeah, come on. You've never been to
Yeah, you're right.
They have CC's.
There's nothing better like a cast iron cookie.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So pizza. I mean, if there's one food I had to eat,
it would be pizza.
It's so customizable. It's portable. I mean, the benefits are just vast.
Well, that was one of the conversations, talking about a down economy or trying to have a business for 30 years. Pizza and beer really don't go out of style.
No, not going anywhere.
So it's a safe mark, So yeah, I agree.
Let's put a nice little bow on pizza.
Yes, do.
And you have another passion.
I do.
And this all makes so much sense now with the ag reports and with well, it's like a sector that I think most people don't know about, and most people right now, and you're going to tell us why and why they should, but most people don't care about it.
Right. I find things that most people don't care about. I get that.
Yeah, and you're interested in it. Yeah. And that's interesting to me. The subject is interesting, but it's interesting that you are interested in it. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I don't even know really how to describe what NoMoGasTax is.
Yeah.
I can try. I'm sure it'll be more concise.
I feel like you should just save the audience for the butchering.
What do you mean?
Well, if you try, you can try.
Oh, you just do it?
Yeah.
You have an elevator pitch for it?
I don't necessarily have an elevator. I think
this is your chance to practice
this would be my chance. NoMoGasTax for me was an idea. 2 years ago, the state of Missouri implemented a progressive gas tax at the pump.
Okay.
It started at 2.5 cents. It grew to 5 cents. Today, it's 7.5 cents.
So this means right now, if I go get gas and it's $1.30, 7.5 cents of that is going to this tax, or I'm paying an additional 7.5 cents.
You're 7.5 cents is going to this tax.
Okay. So the real price of the gas is $1.2250 per gallon.
Right.
But I'm paying $1.30 because of this tax.
Right.
And it started out.
It was an infrastructure bill that was passed in the state. And so
we voted on this.
We did not vote on it. We actually did vote on it, and we did not, as citizens, we did not pass it.
Okay.
But they ended up passing it through the state.
Imagine that. The government just did what they wanted anyway?
They did.
That's bizarre.
That is bizarre.
Okay.
And so
go on.
And so somehow I don't know. I think the news was talking about it a little bit, and I'll finish explaining it. So it goes, it's caps at 12.5 cents 2.5 years from now.
Crazy.
It's refundable if your vehicle is under 6,000 pounds.
Which, give us some reference on that. Not a pickup truck, basically.
No, not an 18-wheeler.
6,000 pounds.
Yeah.
Okay.
Someone quickly Google what a...
I have no reference.
Figure out what a Denali
No
weighs.
frame of reference for that.
Yeah, because it's still under 6,000.
Okay. So your standard car, not a commercial
standard
vehicle.
Car, yeah, commercial.
Okay.
And you think about Missouri, and you think about where the center pathways. So it was really targeted to, or it was meant to, quote unquote, for the travel that comes in and out, and and for infrastructure to pave our roads and to keep up with the bridges and yada yada.
We got to wait, I think.
Anything smaller than the Denali?
Yeah.
Oh, how much is the Denali weigh?
Denali is 58.27.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So and then you have to use that vehicle for all major roads and highways. So at the end of the day, it's everybody. It's literally. And you look at
if you meet those things, it is refundable to you. Okay.
Right. Yeah. So what's not refundable anymore is like if you decide to gas up your, I don't know, your ATV that for the farm or agriculture.
That's
equipment.
not refundable.
Right. That would not be because it's not meant for the roads.
But how do you prove?
I don't know. That's your question, not mine.
Right.
And so, but then the refund period opens July 1st through September 30th every year. There's nobody in Missouri that thinks cognitively to like file a tax return in the third quarter.
Or even that this exists.
So stay there too. Yeah, because nobody even knows. So, but it was in the media. It was kind of a hot thing. And so like my husband was like, we should just build this app. And I sold AP automation in a past life, and I kind of understood with just capturing information and creating data off of it. It can't be that difficult. And so I developed an app, and at the time, like inflation was very big, and it would media picked up on it. It was just a hot thing. It was a hot topic because at the time it was 2.5 cents. So it was funny because it was like nobody cares about 2.5 cents.
Give us an idea on what that is over a year. So like an average person that drives, what is that in the first couple of years at 2.5 cents? What were the refund checks like?
So in the beginning, I mean, pennies. I mean, not even
And so what this does is this captures your receipt, and it either creates for you or helps you fill out that return.
Right.
To get the refund.
Right.
You got numbers?
Yeah. Well, so I mean, it's about for the first time, it's like 22 gallons of gas, about 55 cents every time you purchase. If you purchase gas once a week, it's $28
a year. So people doesn't move the needle.
Doesn't move the needle, right?
Not worth it. You got to print every receipt.
But the conversation was worth it.
Sure.
Like media loved it, and so that was but it's progressive, so it grows. So now we're at 7.5 cents, and really.
So can we see the math on 7.5, and then on the top, which is 12.5?
Right. So 7.5 cents for 22 gallons of gas is $1.65 times 52 weeks a year. Assuming you only buy gas once a week for one vehicle, is $85.
Okay. Multiply that by 2 because most people have 2 vehicles.
Yeah, $160. Add your teenager in there.
Yeah.
Add another driver in there. And so like the way that I talk about it is like if there was $100 bill on the ground, like what would you do?
Pick it up.
That's all. That's all it is. And the state is expecting to make over $500,000 a year on this, upwards of $700,000 to $800,000 a year.
They know people are going to pay attention to it, but the idea of it being progressive is that it's not worth it to do it at 28 cents. So they're not going to create that habit of doing it. And from what I gather, they kind of make it difficult to get the refund, right? It's not just like self-reported. Like you have to turn in receipts.
Well, that was the thing. So so reading the bill, you had to have documentation of the receipts. So you don't necessarily need every single receipt. You need documentation of every receipt.
Just in case you were to get audited.
Right. And then you had to have some like data points of each vehicle. And then the form actually, like shockingly, really needed every line level detail of every receipt. I kind of assumed like a formula summary, submit the first page and be done. But they literally do want a line level detail of every single receipt.
That's insane.
Because they need to have the address, and then
gas station.
Yeah, and then you have to go back to the vehicle to make sure the weight.
Because they have to collect that back, right?
Well, no, because they need to know it was bought in Missouri.
Okay.
That's all. That's all. And so it was just like, so in the beginning, it was kind of like,
Could you fudge it to just be like, I literally fill up at the same Quick Trip there are a few exceptions, but I mean, what's to stop you from just this address every time?
Nothing.
I'm asking the hard-hitting questions here.
Nothing would. Unless they were to like overly track it and audit it. And they don't want to either, I don't imagine.
Sure.
And that's just the bandwidth. And you talk about like not having employees, trying to find people to manage some of this. So I just started looking into it, and I thought, well, let's just, and it's kind of catchy. It's like NoMoGas, like, NoMoGasTax. It's kind of funny.
It's a great name. And that you can't see it in the logo, but there's a hidden mushroom.
I just don't think there's any mushroom.
You don't see that?
Maybe like the
you don't see the slice of pizza in there?
You don't see.
Maybe I'm just hungry.
Where's the cheese drip? Yeah, where's the cheese drip?
Right there.
There it is.
There it is.
Look at the hidden meaning.
Yeah.
So
So
it's a great name. I mean, it's just it's fantastic.
Well, and it's almost, I mean, Mo is great because of Missouri, right? But then like, I kind of see other states taking this action, so then we can just go no more gas tax, and
you can
the
fill
name
in.
just keeps going. Yeah,
It's a great name.
So,
was that a first shot kind of deal, or how long did it take you to come up with that?
That was like just a I think there were some drinks involved and like just
some Nelly probably.
Yeah, some brainstorming and like a company would be called NoMoGasTax. I'm like, that's silly, but it's silly enough. It's gonna work.
It's great. Yeah.
So
you're not gonna remember like whatever. I mean. Yeah, that's the only name it can be.
Yeah,
it's perfect.
It works really, really nicely. So
is that method still how you have to do it on that return?
Yeah. Okay. So there's a Missouri 4923H form, and I'm not this big of a geek to know every tax form in the world, but obviously I've studied this one pretty forwards and backwards, and so you take a picture of the receipt and you capture that line level detail in the transaction, and then you move on with your day. You can throw the receipt away because I've got, it's all hosted and whatnot. And so then at the end of the year, come July 1st, the form will be updated because sometimes the form gets tweaked by the state. So I wait for them to push out a new form. And then we fill it out for them. And then I email it back to the citizen. And so I have.
You personally do it, or is it
it gets emailed
automated?
Back out?
Okay.
Yeah. And so I've been trying to, and I see it eventually kind of being more integrated where there'll be kind of more of an easy button where we can submit it over to the state. But for now, it would need like your Fed ID number, your social security number, your banking information. And I don't really want to capture that detail at this point.
So that's what I was going to ask. I have two big questions. And one is like, I'm sure the prohibitiveness of this is cost, but like, when does it get to a point where I pull into Quick Trip, it knows I'm at Quick Trip because of geolocation or whatever, geolocation, and it either opens my app or prompts me to open my app, or even if I have to open it myself, and it goes
probably right after this podcast because I'm going to make a lot with downloads, and I'll have we got
to work out our comp plan for this. Yeah,
we'll have the stream of
so that's
revenue.
what it is. It's just
more enhancements.
Yeah.
And so I mean.
That's how this breaks through, though.
Yeah. Initially, it was kind of like minimal viable solution, get on the market, get ready, kind of a go to market type of strategy. And I've learned a lot, like developing an app, like it's not as easy as it comes off. Like you can build something. And then, unfortunately or fortunately, my testers were user based. And I mean, I would just be up all night, just like working through kinks and trying to figure out user errors and technical errors and things like that. So it was a learning experience because I always, in my past lives, before the restaurant, before everything else, like I sold software. And so I learned firsthand like what it was like to like develop a software. And I didn't do any coding. I outsourced it. But to come up with an idea and then have something broken in the back end. And, as a salesperson, I was like, why is it broken? It should work for the customer. And I'm like, so, but I worked through a lot of the kinks and got a lot of it going. So at this point, it's kind of like where it is until like there's some additional revenue behind it.
So, which leads perfectly into my second question is how do we monetize this thing?
Well, I mean, I haven't figured that piece out. I'm like wide open to ideas and suggestions. For right now, it's just based off of downloads. I'm not selling any data, and I'm not even capturing any data.
That's probably the answer, though, right? Selling the data.
Yeah.
And is that something you even want to broach?
I mean, it'd be something, but I think being able to like maybe advertise inside of it. A lot of it too is just making it, like you said, easier. I've thought about like trying to integrate it to like different ERP systems that are like commercial fleet, vehicles, and trying to just capture that invoice or that receipt data out of like an accounting system, so it's easier on the back end. And so because
it's not charging for the app, right? You're not making enough.
$5.99. To be Apple takes a cut, Google takes a cut. So
it's not worth it, I don't think, yet to the consumer.
I mean, I think at this point, like it might, I mean, I don't know. I mean, if you were keeping track of your gas receipts this year, I don't know how often you're filling up.
I'm a bad example.
You're local. Yeah. You don't move around too much. But if you also think about Missouri as a whole, like we're very rural. Like you wouldn't think that, but I mean, minus St. Louis, St. Charles, and then Kansas City. everything else is rural.
Yeah.
And so there's a lot more drivers that drive an hour a day.
Sure. I was gonna say there's people that drive to Illinois for work, and it has to be purchased in Missouri, but it's okay if you work in Illinois or.
Yeah, you don't even have to live in Missouri, but it has to be purchased in Missouri. So
Gotcha.
you could be driving through and decide to get like your 65 cents back if you want it.
And do other states have this or something like it?
No.
We're the first.
Yeah. So it would be interesting to see if more pick it up, So
Yeah.
that would be a scalable.
I would imagine
item.
that once they start to see, this project is from the gas tax.
And I take that back. I guess there was a state, I forget which one specifically, but it had expired. And so they kind of mirrored it into the study. I didn't even looked into like the study of it beforehand. And so that was expiring the same time that Missouri picked it up.
Is there anything going back to like making money off this, is there anything like proprietary in the software or in the app that you can?
I do have it is it's not patent pending, but like the trademark of the name and like the functionality of like what it does, tracking citizen gas receipts for tax purposes,
That is patented.
I'm working on it. It's like a process, I guess. You submit
I got something
it and
trademarked and it's,
you kind of wait for
a
a fight,
Yeah.
So
So help me understand that, because I'm not going to claim to know exactly what a patent is, but is it
it's
that
not patent.
Okay.
Patent's more difficult on technology.
Okay.
And I don't know why. I think you'd have to like actually like print out the actual like ones and zeros of like code. And so I didn't even go down that path.
This protects you from someone else making an app that does something similar.
Yeah, it's the name and saying that this is what the name will do. And so if anybody else were to do anything.
It's not the technology or the.
Correct, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's just saying like you can't really steal a name. So it's.
Well, that's all you can do at this point. You got to do it.
Yeah, and it's just a startup venture essentially, and it's just kind of like a fun. But it's really so when I created this company, I started my own company, Tammilytics, and like Tammilytics built NoMoGasTax.
Okay.
And so Tammilytics is like an outsourced IT consulting and development company.
Okay. Can you spell it for us? TAMMILI.
TAM.
Just one M.
Lytics.
Tammilytics.
Yeah, Tammilytics. So, and so I'm building that to be like an outsourced company, and like going back on some of my old ventures of like really just doing outsourced resourcing, building websites, building apps, and like kind of going back into my technology stream.
Yeah, interesting. You've always been
all over the place.
Well, no, I think that's good. I think that's interesting, but. Like all the technology, like when the NFT stuff was coming out, which we can't talk about it.
Were we scammed? I know.
Oh, is that not a thing anymore?
I mean, it's still out there, but like, you're just like.
But people paid like thousands of dollars for, I'm not even sure what, like a digital image, but it was like a one of one or.
I mean, I think I might have spent a couple hundred images or
I remember you were being stoked on it.
It was very intriguing to me because I think
you'd kick yourself if it was like the next new wave, and if you have a chance to get in at Apple at ground zero and buy stock, you do it.
Yeah.
Right? And so you don't know what it's going to be, so you risk a couple $100, no big deal.
Yeah, I think for me it was just trying to understand like where it was going, and it was just like this this metaverse and having like different like forms of currency.
Yeah.
And I think about like, and I still kind of, I think it's got some, I think understanding it is always important, but it has to have something behind it. Because I think about like what my children see as valuable. I mean, my son would take a $25 Robux gift card over a $25 Visa gift card, because Robux is like extremely valuable to him. So like that's his currency.
Yeah.
And so like, when you're going back to like crypto and like going backwards of like kind of like where that was headed, just having like the non-fungible tokens, like I'm like what the hell is that? And so, but I'm like, oh, this is the same crap that my son is trading on Roblox, but it's different, So it was very like, you just gotta be curious and like,
all the way.
But I bought this NFT that MBev was doing with beer next. But like next.
Yeah, that's right.
And so I'm like, I'm going to go to like this, like,
they're
going to have like exclusive events, like for like, next holders. And, so I called my girlfriend. I'm like, do you want to go to this like NFT party at MBev? And it was just like, it And it's
She's like, I need to listen to that album first.
Yeah. She's like, what? I'm like, I don't know. Like, you just go with me. Like, we're always talking about going to have a drink somewhere. Like, I got this, like, let's just bundle it with this weird thing that I'm like.
So it was a thing. It was an event, and
it was an event like at like downtown at InBev.
What types of people were there?
It was, I mean, like you and I were there, and then there was like it was all over the place. But it wasn't very normal people, very unique people.
Yeah.
It was, but at the same time, but then you would talk like, so you have like which NFT, and so like we would know like
They're
which ones, but we also kind of knew like it was not going anywhere, and like half of the promises that were made like really weren't like there, and so like. And so some people are like calling bluff on it. So it's almost like Disney World or like Santa Claus, like, no, it's okay. Yeah, I get it, And I'm like, but it was also like, what was it? There was another NFT like that was out in LA where they were selling like, exclusiveness to like restaurants that didn't exist yet. Huh. And so I was like, oh, this is InBev's version of it. And so.
Yeah. I think there's nothing wrong with jumping on something like that. If you think it's going to pop, I mean.
Yeah. And I was like, I think I got like when it hit, so it wasn't even on the secondary market. So I got like, so I don't know. So I'll be waiting next beer. I don't know if you remember the next beer. It wasn't very good. It's supposed to be like an ultra Bud Light, somewhere in between.
I tend to not.
I know. Yeah.
I just don't like the taste.
Yeah.
But no, you were all in on it. I remember sitting down.
Well, and COVID hit and everybody was bored and like you're just listening to like stuff. And so, I think that's what got like crypto and NFT like going was like just everybody's boredness and COVID.
Yeah, that makes sense. I bought some stuff and,
So do you have an NFT?
I don't have an NFT. I own some crypto.
Yeah.
I got rid of it all. I'm just tired of it. I would always buy it too late and I don't know what I'm doing. And it's that thing though of like, again, if I could hit on Apple in 2000 or God forbid before that, but even at 2000, if you could bet on Apple, you'd do it 100 times out of 100 and you'd put what you had in it.
Right.
And so you don't want to miss that stuff, especially when people are hyping it up.
Give it a couple of years.
I had a crypto go up a pretty good amount.
Right.
And I was like, it's going to go higher.
Yeah.
It didn't.
Well, I mean, I remember a conversation
it came back down
with a friend and we were like, like we need to just like dump like 30,000 into this, and I'm like, yeah, thank God we didn't.
I put 3,000 into Shiba Inu.
Okay.
I watched it one night. It had climbed for like a couple months. It had climbed up to maybe like 6,000. I'm like, oh, cool. Like,
well, I still have like, I think I have like
Ethereum.
Ethereum. I was gonna like just pull up my app. I think it was like, but I get it like notifications like Ethereum went down again 5%. I'm like, like why are you telling me stuff?
I was watching this one night and I watched it go to 30K.
I know.
And I was like,
I missed it.
Yeah, but I was like, oh, it's just gonna keep going. Like I've watched it in this one night go from like 6,000 or 9,000 to 30,000. I'm like, I have $30,000. Like I just 10x'd my money. And I was like, because it was worth a fraction of a penny. And I'm like, if this thing gets to a penny, to 1 penny, I'm out.
Yeah.
Like I'm done. That's enough money for me to be done.
Right.
And so you think it's just going to keep going up. And it doesn't. It came crashing down. And, at the end of the day, it's $3,000. And I'm glad that I did it because.
Well, I mean, you have to think about too in currency, like it's such a. Money is like global, right? But we all have our different currencies. So just like if any country were to like have a currency crisis. And so, I mean, traveling, you go to, I don't know, we've stopped, I forget what the country was. We stopped off of this cruise ship and like they took Bitcoin for payment. And I'm like, well, here's my chance because I got a bunch of really cheap Bitcoin, and this country needs it. And so I'm like, man, like, if I would have had a better Wi-Fi service, I probably would have been able to figure out like how to like pay from like my beer in Bitcoin and like
interesting.
And
I didn't know that
it was like a Caribbean island. I have to think about which one it was. And so if you just think about like if you think about crypto as a currency and a form of money, I think at some point like we might find ourselves relying on it. I really do.
Yeah, I think it's very possible. That's a subject I'm not extremely well versed in, but
me neither.
Makes sense. Like why money
And
now
the
is
way
just
that
numbers
it transacts like such immediately. Yeah. Like as a business owner, and I think about like the loan that we have like on the restaurant and how like moving money takes 5 days to go through a clearinghouse and like going through like the ACH and so if you think about like what crypto you could exchange money, you're actually paying for like the speed of it. And it would be like in 15 seconds you might be paying a little bit more of like a speed. And okay, I'm over.
Yeah.
But and I might not have been even saying this right, but you could exchange money, crypto balances, like in seconds.
You could do that with like Venmo, right? I mean,
that's right. So Venmo kind of replaced the need for it a little bit, I think.
I was going to say like money is not even really real. Like,
but if you were to put Venmo into your bank account, your bank probably wouldn't see it for like.
It might take like
hours.
3 days. You're right. But like what I'm saying is like when Farmers sends me my. Like it's just numbers. Like the numbers in my bank account just go up.
Well, that's if you think.
And then I pay bills and they go down. I don't see. Well, I'm saying when I get paid,
going up and up.
When I get paid, they go up. When I pay bills, they go down. But I don't see any money.
Well, it's just technology, right? So, is there anything paper behind it, right? So, the theory kind of like makes sense, and like the questions, and you think about like what we were going through with COVID, and so it was a fun. But I think. When you talk about like getting paid, like so like when you're paying your employees and you got to do that the day before so they can get their money the next day. Right. So again, it's just 24 hours. It's just such a long lax of.
So Bitcoin, any crypto can make that immediate, is what you're saying.
Yeah, and I guess I don't understand it either. I don't know how you can get like a Bitcoin ATM. I guess it just gives it to you in cash or something like that. But I know that became a thing, and
I don't know, but I mean. Obviously, they have like cashless, contactless payment methods now, like places that just won't take cash. So, like, we're getting closer. I mean,
but that's on the consumer side too. If you're not thinking about it from
that's true, yeah.
So at the restaurant, like I don't get paid until the next day, and if you pay on Saturday or Sunday, I don't get paid until Monday. But the pizza was consumed. So
yeah, and that doesn't hold up in like a small business, but in yours, it's But
paying for things is instant.
Yeah.
But paying, I guess the individual vendor always takes a second. Or if you're writing a check, you got to put it in the mail, you got to stamp it, then you got to go cash it. And so it's just for me, crypto was always an interesting concept of just the immediacy of money.
Do you still have Bitcoins?
I don't think I probably have more ETH than I have of anything because it was just much cheaper. In Litecoin, I think I have some Litecoin, and I'm sure we're invested in Bitcoin. Like my husband and I.
Sure. Yeah, that makes sense too. I'm sure some of the markets, if you're investing in mutual funds, may have that in there. So you may not even know it.
Yeah.
We've covered a lot today. What else do you want to hit?
I don't know. I think that's it. I think we should wrap it up.
I think we should go get some pizza.
We should go get some pizza.
Yeah, let's do that. Is there anything you want to like plug or promote?
Yeah.
I don't know what time of year it is now.
Yeah. I mean, any love for NoMoGasTax app. I just, I know it seems silly, 7.5 cents on every single gallon of gas that you're purchasing.
Not silly.
But there's a lot of money that the state is bringing in for this, and it's refundable, and it wasn't meant for the general consumer driver. And there's 3 million drivers in Missouri. I think the number's even higher than that. And so, download the NoMoGasTax app. It's in the Apple Store. It's in Google. I'm on Instagram, and we got a little bit on TikTok and Facebook as well. And then Mellow Mushroom. I mean, if you're looking for a good pizza, hand-tossed stone-baked pizza, find us. We're over in Chesterfield, Sunset, and then Cottleville.
Obviously, we got to go to Cottleville.
Yeah. But we're well represented here in Missouri. So, and we're continue to grow. So
love it. Thank you for coming on.
Thank you.
Beaver out.
Oh my God, you were waiting for that one.